Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro, friends. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Hazel and Jade, a plant-based bakery here in not so sunny San Diego today. Hazel and Jade are a wholesaler of plant-based, amazing, delicious pastries. Head to hazelandjade.com to check them out if you're in the San Diego area. Today's episode of the podcast, in today's episode of the Daily Coffee Pro, we're going to be talking about the art of mentorship. This is one of those subjects that I get asked about both from mentees and mentors. So the mentor is the guide, for a lack of a better term, and the mentee is the person that is being guided through their career. Now, the type of mentor that you aspire to have can be different. But first, let's talk about what a mentor is. Now, a mentor is somebody who is going to be able to guide you through the process of getting to where you're trying to get to. And that can be in anything. That can be in your career, that can be in life, that can be through a spiritual journey, it can be through a thought process, a thesis, your education, all of these things. A mentor is someone who is going to guide you through that process. The type of mentor that you have should include somebody who has the following traits. Somebody who has walked the journey ahead of you, significantly ahead of you. The further ahead of you they've walked, the better a mentor they're going to have, or the better a mentor they're going to be. They should have access to a network that you would like to have access to. So they should be able to introduce you to people who you would otherwise not have access to. They should be able to guide you to people, to resources, to different kinds of endeavors that you would never have thought to engage in. The idea of a mentor is somebody who triggers you to progress throughout this journey and open your mind to things that you would never have thought of being a possibility before. So I mentor a number of people in the coffee industry, but also I am a personal mentor for a few people. My role is to make sure that I feed them with the questions that are going to teach them how to think for themselves in the stage that they're currently at. So a mentor is not someone that gives you the answers. They can be, but they shouldn't be. A mentor should be teaching you how to think for yourself. They should be teaching you how to grow for yourself. The right kind of mentor will help you progress in your path rather than taking you along a journey that they want you to have. And that's a trap that a lot of people fall into. Now, what's a mentee? If you are the person seeking a mentor, you are the mentee. You are the person that is being guided. And what's your job in this process? Well, your job in this process is to find appropriate mentors. Your job in the process is to be as present as possible. Your job in the process is to ask questions and to have the courage to reach out when you need help, to recognize when you need help, to know how to ask for help, to know how to not waste people's time. Your job is also to take action on the things that you ask help for and receive guidance on. Many times I see and I hear from mentors saying, "Fuck, Lee, what am I meant to do here? I've got this kid, he's asked me to be his mentor. I'm helping him through this stuff and he's not getting anywhere." Well, to me, the job of a mentor, when you've got that kind of relationship that's happening, that's people who are mismatched as mentor and mentee. And why does that happen? typically the reason something like that happens is because the mentee has chosen a mentor based on who they are. So it's the association they want to have with that person rather than the work they want to do with that person. It is really important to learn how to choose a mentor, and it's really important for a mentor to know when to say yes and when to say no. There are absolutely people that I have had to decline to mentor. Now, why would I do that? Given that being asked to be someone's mentor is a huge honor. The reason I have declined mentoring people in the past is because I'm not convinced that they are prepared to put in the work that's required to get to the heights that they think they can achieve. I just literally got off the phone with one of my mentees, and it was our first kind of official mentoring session. And the really exciting thing about that for me, and shout out to Elvira, because I am so excited about watching her progress through her coffee career. The exciting thing about that for me is that I know that Elvira can do the work that's needed to achieve the goals that she set for herself. And I'm incredibly humbled that she has chosen me to be one of the mentors to help guide her along that path, because I'm not somebody who takes that responsibility lightly. And I expect at the very base minimum that people are going to deliver on the things that they say they're going to deliver on. And you may think that that sounds like an assumed thing. Like, of course, people are going to deliver on what they say they're going to deliver on. In actuality, the majority of people don't or will not deliver on the things that they say that they want to deliver on for themselves. And why is that? Well, mostly it's because people overshoot what they think is expected in order to achieve the goals that they're setting for themselves. So most people underestimate how much work is involved in achieving a certain thing. And they overshoot how much they can deliver based on the shorter and shorter attention spans that we as a society have. And so the kinds of goals that you're setting, the kinds of things that you're trying to strive for, you need to be sure that you're matching yourself with a mentor that can not only help you get there, but will keep you accountable for the things that you've decided that you've chosen to achieve. And if you find that more often than not, you're falling short of the goals that you're looking to achieve, you will start noticing that your mentor will try and ruffle your feathers a little bit and show you how, like, what's actually required to get somewhere. But a mentor will eventually, if they're realizing you're wasting their time, they will lose interest. And so if you are engaging in a mentor, it's important for you to show up much more for yourself than what your mentor is showing up for you. So how do you establish the relationship with a mentor? And bear in mind, some of my mentors don't even know me. One example of that is Joe Rogan. The way that Joe Rogan does his podcast, the way that Joe Rogan formulates conversation, he acts as a mentor for me from afar. He inspires me through the way that he conducts his podcast because I find it so relatable, and he's 10 years ahead of me in my podcast. But the integrity with which he brings to his podcast makes a lot of sense to me. So he is a mentor of mine that I've never met. Mark Dundon is an official mentor of mine. I was setting out to look for a new mentor that could help mentor me through Map It Forward and through Elixir Specialty Coffee. And so I was looking for who. It took me about 2 years to identify who it would be that I would want to have as a mentor. And after I cancelled all of these people off the list as to why they would fit and why they wouldn't fit, the person who was at the top of my list was Mark. Now, I reached out to Mark, asked for a meeting, and officially asked him, Mark, this is what I'm looking at doing in my career. I would be honored if you would consider being a mentor for me. And this was a couple of years ago now. Yep. And I mean, he humbled me by telling me he was honored to fulfill that role for me. And he's one of a few mentors that I have. And what happens is that we kind of establish, when you are setting up a relationship with a mentor, you find out once they've said yes, what they're available to help you with from a time perspective. You set up some ground rules and some foundations. So with Mark and I, if I need to talk to Mark, I will give him a heads up. Hey, listen, do you have some time to talk next week? We will set up a time. We'll have a phone conversation. It usually goes for somewhere between half an hour and an hour. And that's the basis on which we have our mentor-mentee relationship. And Mark is very generous with the way that he guides me. I also am very aware that Mark is a ridiculously busy man. And so in honor of the relationship that we have as mentor and mentee, I am very conscious of the fact that I want to get as much value as I can out of the time that we spend together. And so I don't contact Mark for just any fucking reason. Okay? I contact Mark when I have a legitimate conundrum or challenge that I have to work out, or I'm experiencing something in my career as a business owner that doesn't make sense to me. And 100% of the time, Mark has been able to say to me, oh, listen, it's not you. This is just what happens. Perhaps look at it this way. And he offers me a wisdom that always, 100% of the time, has helped me realize that this was just a new growth curve that I was thinking about too much. What value does that bring to me? Well, it shows me that I'm not totally fucking this up, and it helps open my mind to the idea that there are new perspectives to look at things from. Why did I choose Mark Dundon? Like, what's the process that helps me identify if someone's going to be the right mentor for me? And bear in mind, I have made incorrect choices in the past with regards to mentors. I have been in situations where I outgrew my mentors, and the reason I outgrew them was because I chose them because of who they were rather than what they could offer me with regards to guidance. So not what they did, it was who they were. And that was a really important lesson for me to learn. The reason I chose somebody like Mark is because what I'm trying to achieve with my career in both Elixir and in Map It Forward is that I am innovating in ways that scare the shit out of me. And I needed to find somebody in the industry that I felt had done that, and had done that with grace, and had done that in a way that was relatable to me and my values. So I couldn't have gone looking for a mentor who was innovating in a way that would fuck people over and was completely irresponsible to the supply chain and was inconsiderate to the industry and was purely capitalistic focused. That wouldn't work because that's not my values. At the core of what I am, I'm all about integrity and authenticity. And so is Mark. And so on many levels, many levels, Mark is the perfect mentor for me because he has done for the generation, he was for my generation what I can only dream of being for a part of our industry. I mean, I have so much respect for this man that even to think of myself as being somebody who innovated and had the stamp on our career, on our industry that Mark Dundon has, I even feel a little foolish assuming that. But we've got to think huge if we want to be people in the world who want to have extraordinary lives. And I chose some time ago that I would dare to be extraordinary. And so in doing so, having a mentor who has already been extraordinary in my eyes, and Mark Dundon would never, ever consider himself an extraordinary human. But everybody that knows Mark Dundon knows that he's an extraordinary human. And so aligning myself with him is the perfect choice for me. And I am so lucky to have Mark Dundon as a mentor. So there is absolutely an art to being a mentor and to being a mentee. And there's so much more that could be said on this subject. But, I've already been talking for 17 minutes or so. And this is the Daily Coffee Pro is all about seeding ideas for you. So we want you to think about this stuff. If you'd like to explore it more, go to mapitforward.org/webinars and sign up for the Barista and Beyond webinar. And you will get a wonderful deep dive into that process, as well as 3 hours worth of content more, as well as the barista map. Everyone who's taken it has raved about it. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Go find yourself a mentor. Peace out. Have an amazing rest of your day.